So this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and I just feel tremendously motivated to keep going through this atlas of medieval Jewish history. And the title of the course that we're teaching over here is called How the Jews Survived. So on the one hand, you have the murderers of the Jews who destroyed the temple, adopting the religion of the Jews, called Christianity. These are the people who crucified tens of thousands of people and adopted a religion which focused on one man. But the influence of the Jews, the spirit of the Jews, was really infused in our murderers. And as a result of that, we see different kinds of patterns. In the meantime, the Jews are scattered throughout the Mediterranean. Particularly, we've been focusing here on the Jews of North Africa. What happened to them? How did we survive? So here, I just looking at these maps. There's three maps here. One is a map of Jewish centers in Morocco, Fez. So some of the names that I can read: Tangier, all these different names. I don't know them all. I know Marrakesh, and like I say, all of these different places I'm not really familiar with. Then you come to Tunisia, which is a place I'm really even less familiar with. And he comes in, he brings us, see if I can I move this at all? And he comes and brings us all these different kinds of places that Jews were found in Tunisia. I have some property in Tzfat, Israel. And originally the Tunisian population had evacuated them after 1948. Settled a lot of them there. They're very, very happy people. So anyway, all these names, I don't recognize any of them. I think he might have talked about this, Gabes, in the blurb that was up above yesterday. And Jerba, all these different places. These are places where business was good, Jews lived, and sometimes prospered. Sometimes prospered. Well, let's go back to the text and see what we can do about this. The text says in 1032, Fez was captured by one of the Berber sheikhs, who destroyed the town and its Jewish quarter, massacred many of its Jews. However, neither this disaster nor those that preceded or succeeded in it arrested Jewish activity. So here we have a situation where a revolt takes place. Right away they go after the Jews with the sword, and there's bloodshed, our blood, shed terribly. But then the next day, or maybe in a different quarter of the town, nothing happened. And so therefore, it keeps on. The scholars of Fez continued to correspond with the Gaonim of Babylon in matters of halacha and the Babylonian Gaonim. So we see that the learning continued. Reb Shreira, Reb Chai, and Reb Shmuel ben Hofni would send the responser to Abraham to Abraham or Tanhum. It's possible that these two were heads of the communities and its judges. In other words, he has this Dr. BEINART. He has documentation to show this. Several important scholars from Fez moved to Spain, where they were among the founders of Torah study centers there. The Muslims of that period saw Fez as a Jewish town. So there were a lot of Jews there. People prospered there. Even the Jews of Tiaret and Shalmaza, he said, maintained contact with Babylon and the Galonian of Palestine. Berber troops, so back to the Berbers again. Umayyad armies from Spain and Fatimid soldiers caused great destruction in these towns as well. Despite this, however, there was a resurgence of Jews in these towns. Many engaged in international trade with distant lands. Perhaps the geographical importance of these towns contributed to continuing Jewish settlement. In other words, that the winds blow one way and the winds blow the other way. The winds blow to massacre, to death, to moving, to running, to coming back. Because business is good over there. But that's what it is. We have to survive. So perhaps the geographical importance of these towns contributed to continuing Jewish settlement, because that's what I said, there's business there. Kairouan played a central role in Jewish relations and contact with Babylon. In northwestern Africa, a number of Berber tribes joined forces to form a religious, social, and military confederation called Al-Murabitun, known as the Almoravids. These people, whose doctrines favored a more radical religious orthodoxy. See, this is what goes on in the Muslim world, in the world of the Arabs. Their leader, Yusuf ibn Cheshvon, who founded Marrakesh in 1062, set out on campaigns of conquest in Africa and Spain. In 1071, he forced the Jews in his North African domain to pay a huge tribute of 100,000 dinars. And again, we're speaking about documented evidence from way back when. This is the year 1071, so you're really just in the end ending the 11th century. Such taxation may explain why so many Jews left North Africa for Spain, because the situation became too tight. However, the rule of the Almoravids cannot be compared to the reign of the Muhadim, which were the Almohads. Now, the Almohads drove people from Spain, who emerged in the 12th century and destroyed many Jewish communities. Now, we said destroyed. These are pogroms, or these are massacres that took place. This is the time of Muslim Spain. Now, here is interesting drawing. Now, I'm also a person, because I speak a little Spanish, that is interested in these kind of things. Let me pull this back a little bit where we can get the whole idea. So this is the Iberian Peninsula. So the colored area, the purple area here, is the area of Spain that was controlled by the Muslims. Muslim Spain, let's see the legend here. The economy and centers of Jewish settlement, the 10th to 12th century, so we're talking about the years, was the 10th century, 900 to the 1100s. Now, some things that I know about Spain from other places, maybe he's going to tell us more, is that it's a country that is not easily united, because it has different kinds of mountain ranges, rivers, and so on. They cut it up. And as a result of that, different kinds of kingdoms developed. Now, that's a little bit I know from the outside. Let's try to find what's going on the map in the Jewish sense. So we understand all of these different cities. Okay, Cadiz. We have the bottoms where there was a lot of shipping and fishing and so on and so forth. We have some different ideas here. Let's look at the legend on the map. Maybe we can get a little closer. We can see it better. So the legend on the map, it shows here, these are different places where there was Jewish business. Which kind of business? Silk, wool, cloth, and manufacturing. We have these places that shows you where they are on this map. And if you could freeze this, you could go through it if you're interested in that. So here's some of the areas that we're talking about, all these different kinds of businesses. Then we have these lines, which he says that this represents roads, like road systems. This emirate boundary, because here once again it's feudal. It's cut up into different emirates. This dark color here is the area under Muslim control in the 11th century. Now the rest of it, which we can read it like this, in the Leon, which is in the western part of Spain, was never Muslim. It was filled with Christians at that time. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll see from the commentaries. Then there's a place called Navarre. There's another place called Aragon. another place called Barcelona. All of these areas were never really conquered by the Muslims. I guess they got to what they liked and they stopped. Let's see, a couple of things have to do with our time. In the year 912, Abd al-Rahman unified central and southern Spain. So that's what we see here. In the year 929, he founds the Cordoba Caliphate. Okay, so Cordoba is here on our map, southern Spain. And then we'll go on. Let's find number 2. He says, Histai ibn Shaprut is a Jew, appointed the physician to the Caliph, director of customs and diplomatic emissary, also served under Caliph al-Hakim. So that's in that day. Number 3. Hello, 3. Number 3 says, Hisdai established spiritual center for Jews, for Spanish Jews, and yeshiva headed by Moses ben Hanoch. Supports scholars and poets, including lexicographer Menachem ibn Saruk, and interesting, and linguist Dunash ben Labrat. So these are famous names of the Jewish communities of Spain. In the year 970, then, death of Moses ben Hanoch causes factional dispute on succession to rabbinical seat of Cordoba between his son Hanoch and Yosef ibn Abitur, student at yeshiva, who is a student in the yeshiva there. There's a machlokas begins at that place. Hisdai supports Hanoch, who is in fact elected. Let's go on to number 5. Number 5 says, in the year 993, we're moving onwards, Reb Samuel Halevi ibn Nargela, Samuel HaNagid, born in Cordoba. So this is a famous rabbi, commentary on the Torah. Number 6, in 1013, Suleiman attacks Cordoba. Cultural center destroyed, and caliphate disintegrates. Number 7, many Jews at this time flee to Granada. New center is established in Granada. On the left side, where is Granada here? So Cordoba was a major seat, we see, for the Jews coming to the year 1000. That's how far back we go there. And then you come from after that, the massacres and so on and so forth that took place in Cordoba. Nothing new here. The Jews moved to Granada. So what was that, number 7? Let's look at number 8. In the year 1013, Reb Samuel Halevi flees from Cordoba to Malaga. Now here is Malaga, going down south. Now even today, this area really is has a very Jewish flavor in a certain very horribly suppressed way. But many people who claim to be Spanish, or who are Spanish, has told me here in Miami that they have Jewish background, so on and so forth. They come from these kind of places. Let's go on a little bit more. That was 813. Frees to Malaga. Do we have a number 9 here? Number 9 here. In the year 1027, Samuel appointed by King Habus, Berber ruler of Granada, as vizier, holds position during the reign of Badis, son of Habus. Jews appoint him Nagid, leader of Spanish Jewry. Now, I didn't quite get that. So now we're moved to the year 1027. Samuel, the person named Samuel, is appointed by the king Habus, who's the Berber ruler of Granada. So we see that the Berbers are in the southern part of Granada. I don't know how it goes. As vizier. He holds position during the reign of Badis, who is the son of Habus. So this Habus was a Berber ruler, and he stayed there during the reign of the son as well. Jews appoint him Nagid, so therefore he's considered to be the Nagid. What's the Nagid? It's the leader of Spanish Jewry. So here we see centers of where the Jews came from. We have Cordoba, we have now Granada, and this area, all of this area, Malaga and so on and so forth, had Jewish centers within them. Now, so we have business down by the sea. So let's see what the next one is. It said in the year 1056, now we're moving further, Samuel Anagid, which we said was, he says succeeded by his son Yehoseph, who was murdered in 1066. Wow. Many Jews killed and many flee. So he says that this, once again, how this goes, he says that Samuel Anagid succeeded by his son Yehoseph, wow, who is murdered in 1066, and murdered in the year 1066. Many Jews killed and many flee. That's the beginning of the Jews in Spain. And remember that the Jews are bathed in the blood of Christ, and so therefore, as our blood is spilled, it only makes sense. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kolo.